Hello, and welcome back. And today I'm going to describe to you guys the difference between parallel and perpendicular lines and how to determine if a line is parallel or perpendicular. So, as you've noticed, I have posted like a set of notes to which you can watch this video and go along with those notes, do the practices, but it also has like some GeoGebra steps in there, so you're going to do that before you actually get in depth in this video. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and do that first because that's going to help you along the way. But I want to start out with like what it means for two lines to be parallel. Okay, so here we have two parallel lines, and usually parallel lines will have some little arrows on them that look like this, indicating that they are parallel. But if you don't know that they're parallel, there are some steps that you can take in order to figure that out. So first off, I want to look at this and say that parallel lines are going to have equal slopes, okay? Equal slopes. Well, how do you find the slope? So let's go back and think about how we find slope. Well, slope is rise over run, which can also be said, how much does it go upward or downward? How much does it go left or right? Okay, and in this case, let's look at this line here. And this is going to be how much this line goes downward. This is how much the line goes over. Okay, so our slope would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, and it's going downward, so we're going to say negative 12, and let's see how many does it go over to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 12 over 4. Well, that ends up being negative 3. So this slope of this line here is negative 3. Well, this one, let's see. Okay, and it also is negative 12 over 4 being negative 3. So they both have slopes equal to negative 3, which means that they are going to be parallel. So these lines here are parallel. We just identified that. So in order to write an equation of a line that's parallel, it means that it has the same slope, so we can put that in point slope form. So if we say we want to write an equation of a line that is parallel to y equals 2x minus 3, and it passes through the point 2, 8, then we're going to use point slope form because we have a point and we have a slope, right? Our slope is the same, so our slope here is 2. And our point is 2, 8. So we can put this in point slope form by y minus y1. So this is just saying y minus whatever y that we were given. And in this case, we were given 8. So y minus 8 equals 2 times, so 2 being our slope. Our slope is 2, so that's going to be m. Times x minus x1. Well, we were given 2 for our x. So that's x minus 2. Well, you will just simplify that as you normally would. You'll use the distributive property here. And you have y minus 8 equals 2x minus 4. Simplify that by moving the 8 over on both sides. And you end up with y equals 2x plus 4. So now we've found a line, the equation of a line, parallel to the line y equals 2x minus 3 and passes through the point 2, 8. So we have done that. So now let's look at these two problems here. So it says, and you can pause here if you'd like to and do it on your own, and then you can come back. But what is the slope of a line parallel to the line y equals negative 5x plus 13? Well, where is our slope here? Okay, and because this is in y-intercept form, or slope-intercept form, we know that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M being the slope and b being the y-intercept. So in this case, the slope of a line is going to be parallel. It's going to be the same. So our slope here is -5. So if the line's parallel, the slope will also be -5. So now let's write an equation of a line parallel to the line y equals 5x plus 3 that passes through the point 3, 3. So going back to that point slope form that we used up here, we have y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Well, y minus, what's our y value? 3 equals the slope. What is our slope? Well, if it's parallel, it's going to be the same. So our slope here is 5 times x minus, what is x1? And that's the x we were given, so that's 3. So when we simplify this, we have y minus 3 equals, and let's distribute that, it'd be 5x minus 15. Okay? Simplify it a bit further, you're going to add 3 to both sides. And so we have y equals, because that canceled, 5x, negative 15 plus 3 is going to be negative 12. Okay? So now we have an equation of a line that is parallel to the line y equals 5x plus 3 that passes through the point 3, 3. So now that we have talked about parallel lines, I want to talk about perpendicular lines. So if you notice in the past, we've talked about lines that are perpendicular. Perpendicular means that they are going to intersect and form a 90-degree angle. Okay, so that's what it means for lines to be perpendicular. And the slopes of perpendicular lines actually multiply to be -1. That does not mean that the slope multiplies -1 and gets something. It means that the slopes of two lines, so if I have the slope in this line, y equals -3x, that means that this slope and this slope are going to multiply to be -1. And so -3 times 1/3 ends up being -1. Basically, what else that means is that it is the slope of a perpendicular line will be the reciprocal. Okay? And the reciprocal is, if you remember, reciprocal is like flip it, change it, right? So it's going to be the negative reciprocal. Okay? So now we can just use point slope form just like we did with parallel lines, and pause this video at any point in time if you feel like I'm going too fast. But you can use point slope form to write equations of lines that are perpendicular to other lines. So let's think here. What is the slope of a line perpendicular to the line y equals -2/3 x plus 1? Well, let's think. What number, you can do this a couple different ways. What number can I multiply to -2/3 to get -1? Okay? And some of you may already know that that's going to be the negative reciprocal, which is 3/2. Okay? And that's going to end up being -1. Okay? So 3/2 would be our slope of a perpendicular line to that. So now let's think, what is the equation of a line perpendicular to the line y equals -1/2 x plus 5 that passes through the point 2, 2? So let's do the same thing we did with parallel lines. Well, first off, what is our equation using point slope form? Well, we have y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Well, So we have y minus, what is our y? 2 equals, what is our slope here? So again, it's a negative reciprocal. So what times negative 1/2 is going to equal negative 1? And if you said 2 over 1, which is the same thing as 2, you would be correct. So 2 times x minus, and what is x1? 2. If we simplify that a bit further, we have y minus 2 equals distribute, 2x minus 4. Simplify it further by adding 2 to both sides, and we are left with y equals 2x, what's negative 4 plus 2? That is negative 2. And this is the equation of a line that is perpendicular to y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5 that passes through the point 2, 2. Okay, so from here, I want you to go back and fill in those notes. Do that GeoGebra thing. If you have not, it's inside of the notes. Different parts are. And then I want you to go on to the practice and do the practice for this. Okay, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later.